Coming up on CU Sports Mag, the Buffs get back to their winning ways against Iowa State.
John Embry speaks about his recruits on National Signing Day.
And we have a feature profile on freshman Andre Roberson coming up on CU Sports Mag right now.
Can't hear anything.
I don't think he's supposed to say anything. Only if
Welcome to this week's edition of CU Sports Mag. I'm Matt Hanlon alongside David LaRose. Dave, we got a lot of stuff on tap today. Men's basketball, women's basketball, and even some National Signing Day with John Embry.
Right, first let's start off with National Signing Day this past Wednesday. John Embry, he had a press conference to announce his future Buffs coming into town.
Now, I wanted guys that could come in and have some versatility and upgrade our speed a little bit. So those are the things I was looking at. Early on in the process, especially with us going to the Pac-12 and being in a situation where California and some of the West Coast recruiting is going to open up for us. We're in a situation with a lot of kids committed that we had to go to where the players were. So we went a little farther than we normally did. A couple of those kids actually recruited us, and very good players that we're excited about, and we were able to get them. And I'm very excited really about not only our class, but the job that our coaches did. As I go through this and I look at it, and I'll talk about it as I go through each player, but there's 8 players that we flipped. So in other words, they were committed to other schools in the conference or other BCS schools, and we were able to convince them and show them what we had and what Colorado's all about, and we're able to get them to want to come and be a part of this program. So I'm very excited about it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down just alphabetically and talk about guys. The first one is Paulé Asiata. And this kid, I smile thinking about it because I remember sitting across.
John Embry brought in a lot of guys like Paulé Asiata, switched him from Washington, some in-state guys like Mark Musto, switched him from UCLA, and it's just a really good job on his part.
Right, it was a good job with Embry because due to the coaching change, he came in and he only had 13 days out on the recruiting trail. So I thought overall he did a very good job.
Yeah. Kick it to get back to their winning ways against Iowa State after a 4-game losing streak. Relford kicks it down low to a rising Higgins, who gets the scoring started. Marcus driving the lane, finds a wide open Roberson, who slams the two-handed jam with authority. Roberson once again looking for the post move, but finds the cutting Levi Knutson from downtown for the Colorado 1-2-3. Cyclones looking to make some adjustments coming out of the timeout. Put the ball in the hands of Booby Paulo. If you want to win, put Booby in. Who gets the ball, takes it hard to the lane, and kisses off the glass for Dose. Right here you got Deontay Garrett breaking ankles with a mean crossover, finds Scott Christopherson for the easy baseline J. I've seen the tape, and that boy can flat out shoot.
Buffs on the fast break as Austin Dufall finds Higgins, who comes right into your living room after the two-handed throwdown, stretching the lead to 6. Tomlinson at the point, and mama, there goes that man. Knutson hitting one of his 3 tray balls on the night. Right before the half, Burks crosses over once, twice, and then blows right by 3 defenders for the lay-in, giving the Buffs a 15-point halftime lead. Second half, Darian Anderson pump fakes and drives for the wraparound bucket as he tries to keep the Cyclones in it. Burks receives a pass and looks a little like Paul Pierce here, hitting the elbow jumper, adding to his team-high 19 points. On the other end, Garrett comes off the screen and dishes to a wide-open Anderson for the easy 2, but the Buffs were just too much on this night. That's a foul, that's a 3, and that's a win. Buffs take it the final 95-69. Alec Burks with a double-double, 19 and 10. Higgins chipped in 16 points.
Scott Christopherson from Iowa State, 24 and 6. Deontay Garrett, 15 and 4. Really hot performances from them, but it wasn't enough.
Let's now kick it to Coach Boyle with his post-game press conference.
Well,
we're coming back.
Yeah.
Apologize.
The women's basketball team ran it into a hot shooting Kansas team on Wednesday. The home Jayhawks shot 32% from the field as the Jayhawks led by nearly 20 points at the break and never looked back, winning 81-53. Brittany Wilson continued her good play by scoring a career-high 22 points. Brittany Spears scored 16 points and will also moving into third all-time on the Buffs scoring lists. The Buffs come home and stay home before leaving town again for Kansas State on the 16th.
Senior shooting guard Levi Knutson was named to the academic all-district first team. On the hardwood, Knutson is having his best season for the Buffs. He's a top scorer and leads the team in both three-pointers and free throws made. In the meantime, Knutson is a business administration major and he maintains a 3.92 GPA. He's also a 5-time honor roll student and a 6-time Dean's List honoree. Knutson is awarded for his dedication on the court and in the library. Don't go anywhere. Coming up after the break, Andrew Tomasini gets to know the future of Colorado basketball and Andre Roberson.
And Whitney Lewis and Simone Rovenberg break down what the men's basketball team needs to do to finish strong in the Big 12.
Wanted. Immediate openings available for the most important jobs in America, helping the organizations that help children. Whatever you can do, in whatever time you have, you can make a difference. To learn how you can help in your community, reach us at this web address and number. We're fighting for the children. Whose side are you on?
Change. It's coming faster. Only those with high-tech skills will excel.
Power, Spear 1-1, holding short of 1-6.
I'm getting those skills now in the Air Force. It's given me powerful tools, education, training, and experience. With Air Force skills, I can keep up with tomorrow's changes, and so can you.
Let's sit down for a second, okay, sweetie?
Hey, Kayla, there's Mary from your class.
Hi, Mary! Hi, Kayla! Come and play!
Oh, sweetie! Sweetie! Why don't you go play with those kids over there?
Why?
Imagine the power of one voice. Find yours at freedomcenter.org.
Joe Morris of the track team has been on fire as of late, setting a school record in the 60-meter dash last week and winning 3 events this week. Morris took gold in the 60-meter again at the Don Barrett Duels, while also winning the 200-meter and the 4x4 100-meter relay. For his outstanding performance, Joe Morris is CU's Sports Mag Athlete of the Week.
Feels awesome. I mean, it's easy to me. This is what I plan on doing. This is how I train. I train for it, and I'm ready for it every time. So we're preparing for more records each time. Excitement, running down the track, so I'm obviously going to move faster. But I've trained harder than ever. I focus harder than ever. And right now, this is what I'm getting. And basically, it's basically where this is your goals. Follow your goals. You know, you keep with them. You come out here when it's practice time and actually make practice serious. And you put 100% in, then you're going to go as far as you want to go. I just want to go to nationals. I want to get there, and then after that, you know, if there's worlds somewhere in the picture, we'll go there. But, you know, leading up to Olympics is where we're trying to get. So, Joe Morris, CU Sports Mag Athlete of the Week.
Tad Boyle's most touted recruit in his first year was a lanky forward from San Antonio, Texas. Andre Roberson has played well and turned some heads in his freshman year in Boulder. Andrew Tomasini has more.
The men's basketball team faced the Baylor Bears on the road on Saturday. The Buffs were in control for the entire first half, leading by as many as 17 points. But the Bears came out of intermission firing, erasing their 14-point halftime deficit. Lace Darius Dunn and the rest of the Bears nipped the Buffs in the final moments to beat CU 70-66 in heartbreaking fashion. Dunn led with the Bears with 26 points, 17 of which came in the final 20 minutes. The Buffs head to Columbia this weekend to play the Missouri Tigers, where they look to end their road woes.
The CU women's basketball team fell to the Texas Longhorns last Sunday. Colorado held the lead 3 separate times in the first half, but a three-pointer by Texas right before the break took it back for good. The 76-50 loss marks the third in 4 games for the Buffs, who now occupy 9th place in the Big 12. Forward Brittany Spears led the Buffs with 16 points and set a school record with 113 consecutive starts for CU. The women's basketball team will take on rival Nebraska this Sunday at the Coors Event Center.
Whitney Lewis and Simone von Rippenberg are on the double team set with the little men's basketball.
Thanks, guys. I'm Simone von Rippenberg alongside Whitney Lewis, and we're here today talking some men's basketball. Now, Whitney, the Buffs have finally managed to overcome. What do you think that they did differently this time around?
You know, Simone, a lot of people were calling this a must-win game for the Buffs. We're coming off of our loss against Baylor and also our 4th consecutive loss this season, but we ended up beating the Cyclones 95-69, had a great game, came into the second half with a lot more intensity, something that we normally struggle with, and everyone was just working together, sinking those hoops. Burks with 19 points, 5 players actually scoring in the double digits, which was awesome. Roberson did a great job with rebounds as usual, and just upping our defense against Cyclone players, Christopherson and Anderson. We did a great job hustling together, and I think the Cyclones had a great game as well. I think we're a really good match with them. We're both a little undersized for the league and both coming off of 4 losses, but they just couldn't keep up with our aggression throughout the game and the communication going on court. This game put us at 4-4 in conference and 15-8 overall, so it was great, but I gotta say we looked like a totally different team than earlier in the week at Baylor. Yeah. So what do you think went wrong at Baylor?
Man, what a heartbreaking loss, too. The final score was 70-66. So as you can see, the Buffs really fought for it at the end. But let's break it down a little bit. The first half, the Buffs really came out fighting, really attacking that basket, and just relying more heavily on attacking the basket instead of those perimeter jump shots, which was huge for them. However, the second half was a bit different. I don't know if they got complacent or what happened, but Baylor came out with 7 consecutive shots on basket before we even decided to show back up for the game. So from there on, it was an uphill battle. Now, Tad Boyle said after the game, he said, quote, "We have to be able to win games like these," end quote. And he's absolutely right. If we can't win the games, it doesn't matter how good we look, you know, it's going to be a really long season. Now, you had mentioned the game against Iowa State. It really turned the tables for us a bit, and we were able to seal that W. Now, in this game, the Buffs really maintained their aggressive offensive pace. They performed to a higher caliber overall, and actually, their shooting percentages hovered right around 50%, which is pretty good. Now, their defense, they looked cohesive, plenty of communication on the court, so that was pretty good. And switching gears a bit, why don't we talk about Tad Boyle? Got a first-year coach. He's looking pretty good out there. What is he doing right here?
Definitely. Tad Boyle's been getting a lot of praise this year, and I think it's well-deserved, both from fans and his players. We started the season off great, and with the exception of a couple losses, I think that the Buffs have really improved overall. He's always got his head in the game, and when he's asked about how he changes from game to game or for conference play, he just says you have to take it one step at a time, look at each game individually, and I think that's what's really helped us out. Of course, better defense, more rebounds are always important. It can come down to a couple possessions, but the teams who execute the best are the teams that win, and hopefully we can continue to be a team like that with how we're doing right now. With that in mind, we have a game coming up this Saturday against Missouri. We beat Missouri earlier this year, but it was at home. I don't know. What do you think? Do you think it's going to be another win for us?
Oh, man. That's right. Mizzou on the road this Saturday. Now, in order to beat them, I think we're really going to have to maintain the intensity that we saw present at the Iowa State game. Hands down, that has to happen. Offensively, I actually think we're the better team. We just have to really play aggressively and push the pace. Now, you mentioned it's an away game. We don't have the luxury of home court advantage, and that's been a factor for the Buffs in the past. So we'll see how they perform this weekend.
Definitely, I'm looking forward to that game. I hope that we can make it another win. That would be awesome. That's all the time we have for today. For Simone von Rivenberg, I'm Whitney Lewis. We're going to send it back to the desk.
Thanks, guys. Most CU fans know that Mason Crosby will be kicking in this weekend's Super Bowl for the NFC champion Green Bay Packers. Which brings us to our weekly trivia question. Who was the last CU Buff to win a Super Bowl? Stick around for the much anticipated trivia answer later in the show.
Sorry for all the technical difficulties, but we've got even more CU sports coming your way after the break. Audie Streetman will break down John Embry's first recruiting class.
And Annie McDonald sits down with legendary former women's basketball coach after the break.
Big dreams and good grades aren't enough to get into college. There are actual steps you need to take. Finding someone who can help is the first and most important. For the next steps, go to knowhowtogo.org.
Succeed.
We don't want to be at your party any more than you want us here.
What could we have done to avoid this?
Keep the noise down so no one complains.
Hey, guys, keep it down. The neighbors are complaining.
Make sure anyone drinking alcohol is at least 21.
You sure you're old enough?
And finally, make sure that you don't have too many people.
Man, that would have been easy. I wish I had known the rules. Now you know. Avoid trouble. Know the rules.
Don't you love that safe, free feeling you get in a pickup truck, Larry?
Yeah, nothing but you, me, the open road, a deer.
Yeah! A cow! Yeah! An ostrich! The village people! The village people?
You could learn a lot from a dummy. Buckle your safety belt.
Especially in pickup trucks.
I didn't know the village people were doing a road tour.
Welcome back to CU Sports Mag. Sitting here with Audie Streetman, who has a little bit more information about the recruiting class that John Embry just brought in this past Wednesday, signing 20 recruits. Tell us a little bit about more.
Yeah, definitely. I know next fall, John Embry, he doesn't want his first football team for CU to be remembered as playing from behind. But when it comes to recruiting from behind, well, that's a whole different matter. I know Embry's first CU signing class was created in only 13 days, so really quickly this year. And here's what we know so far about Embry's first recruitment as head coach. So far he's signed 19 prospects, which is much more than we initially expected. I know Embry and his staff, they use their NFL experience as a prime selling point to prospects. I know 7 of his 9 assistants' resumes list NFL experience either as coaches or players, which definitely helps in the credibility department for players interested in CU. Also, he's taken flipping to a whole new level by persuading 8 recruits to join CU's program. In addition to that, it's important to note that a majority of recruits who have flipped to CU, they were already committed to future Pac-12 schools. So they're definitely worthy of the competition between the Pac-12 when we enter it coming up. I know on signing day, most coaches, they don't want to dwell on the players that they didn't get. And Embry quoted former coach McCartney by saying that it's not the players you don't get, it's the players that you have that can't play for you. That's what's going to hurt your team the most coming up. So as far as signing, I know that CU's signed 3 out of 4 Hawaii players that are currently being recruited. Cabral talked Embry into visiting the islands specifically to talk with KT Tumalo, who was a Boise State commit but is now signed with CU. So that was a great addition to our recruits. And Embry didn't believe that Cabral could talk him into it, but being a Hawaii native, he managed to convince KT to come to our football program. So yeah, we have a lot of great recruits coming our way.
Right, like you were talking about all the flips that he got. One of the other Hawaiian players, Asiata, was committed. He was committed to Washington, and he flipped to come to CU after his high school teammate Judah Parker also came to CU. So that was a good job of Embry, like you said, going on the recruiting trail. He only had 13 days on the recruiting trail, so for him to even go out there to Hawaii shows a lot of confidence that he has in these players.
I know, definitely. I think the NFL experience is a key factor with persuading people. I also know Stevie Dorman from Texas. He's a new recruit for CU. He has ties to CU. His uncle was a quarterback back in the 90s, and so there's definitely a lot of players with a lot of experience with CU in the program. I know Embry's first recruiting class is sealed and ready to go for summer, and final grades, they won't be posted until the Pac-12 starts getting going in a couple seasons, but as soon as we get that information, we'll be sure to bring that to you guys.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Audie, and we'll see how they play in Here Comes Fall.
Okay, thank you.
CU sophomore Erica Gant won the silver medal in the women's super combined race at the 25th World University Games in Turkey. Gant is the 3rd buff skier to win a medal at the Games and the 2nd buff to receive an award this year. She took 2nd in both the slalom and super G portions of the race and finished just 0.3 of a second out of a combined 1st place. Gant and the rest of the buffs hit the slopes once again this weekend at the New Mexico Invitational.
Senior skatey Katie Hartman crashed while competing in the 25th World University Games in Turkey on Monday. Her injury occurred just 2 days after winning a gold medal in the Super G. Her fall delayed the race, and it was canceled soon after due to harsh weather conditions. Hartman will miss out on the remainder of the ski season with a partially torn MCL and a completely torn ACL. Hartman says she won't stay away from the slopes, though, and will be there to support her team for the remainder of the year.
The men's basketball team is halfway through their Big 12 schedule and has been up and down so far with a 4-4 record in conference play. SportsMag's Meredith Lavery hit campus to find out what students thought about the team's performance so far in this week's Man on the Street.
We're at the UMC today catching up with students as they escape the cold. Let's see how much they really know about the Buffs basketball team. 7 feet tall.
6'6". I don't know.
I bet there's a couple guys on the bench though that are around 6'10". I don't think we have any 7-footers, but
I'm gonna say 6'7".
7 feet.
7 feet. The freshman Ben, I don't know his last name.
That's Ben Mills.
I would not know. I don't know. Corey Higgins. I don't know. I don't even know the guys' names. I'm gonna go with Burks.
I don't remember.
I have no idea.
Alec Burks.
Alec something? I don't know.
3 and 2.
3 and 4? 4 and 3. I don't know.
4 and 2.
8 and something.
3 and 4. Okay, yeah.
It looks like CU students might need to brush up on their basketball a bit as we head into the second half of the Big 12 schedule. For CU Sports Mag, I'm Meredith Lavery.
Thank you, Meredith. Stick around, everybody. We've got that trivia answer for you coming up.
And Andy McDonald will give us the weekend outlook for the ski slopes.
Can you pass the salt, Dad?
Salt is to pepper as gregarious is to...
Oh, no, not more SAT questions.
In ancient Rome, salt was a form of currency. True or false?
False.
True.
Son, can you locate sodium?
Or chloride?
There are tons of ways to help with your kids' learning. Find the really good ones on connectforkids.org.
You have 3.5 grams of salt and a 5-gram slug. What's the rate of shrivel?
In America, you are not required to offer food to the hungry or shelter to the homeless. There is no ordinance forcing you to visit the lonely. In fact, nowhere in the Constitution does it say you have to provide anything for anybody. Thank you for all you've given. Imagine what more could do.
Do you think being strong is cool? Because it is. Do you think taking steroids is cool? It's not. Steroids may make you big and strong now, but actually will hurt you in the long run. Are these your goals? Liver tumors, shrinking of testicles, infertility, baldness, development of breasts, paranoid jealousy, and jail. Unless you want those side effects, don't do steroids. Steroids, unnecessary.
In the event of a big emergency, and I'm at work, my daughter's school is 2 blocks away. That would be a very convenient meeting place for all of us.
We'd meet up at his parents' house.
A meeting place? Not really.
My husband would definitely pick up the girls from school.
I would want to make sure that she has the girls or is on her way to get the girls.
I know that there's a plan, but I don't know what the plan is.
Welcome back. Just for a refresher on our trivia question, who was the last CU Buff to win a Super Bowl? The most recent Buff to win a Super Bowl ring was Mitch Berger in 2008 with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I mean, hopefully you can get another one in the upcoming Super Bowl. The CU women's head soccer coach, Bill Hempen, announced Wednesday that he has added 4 student athletes to the roster. Forwards Carly Bolliard, Darcy German, and midfielder Rebecca Boggs and defender Bianca Jones will be in Boulder in the fall. 3 of the 4 future Buffs are in-state recruits, with Boggs hailing all the way from Eagle River, Alaska. Hempen says he expects all of the newcomers to have an immediate impact next fall.
While we sit in sub-zero temperatures, the men's golf team is lucky enough to be teeing it up in Hawaii. After one round of play at the Amari Invitational, the Buffs sit in a tie for 10th overall, 15 strokes behind first place Southern California. Buffs sophomore Johnny Widmer shot his best round ever in college with a 3-under par 69. Luke Simons wasn't far behind, adding 4 birdies on his way to a 1-under 71. The field includes 4 of the top 7 players in the nation, and the tournaments continue tomorrow.
It's been real snowy these past couple of days, and Andy McDonald has the ski report coming up for you guys.
Thanks, guys. I'm Andy McDonald. After a week where temperatures struggled to get out of the single digits, there's going to be a nice weekend ahead. And skiers and snowboarders, I have some good news for you. On the national weather map, you can see in Colorado there's a little bit of moisture in the air, so it's going to lead to 1 to 2 maybe inches in the mountains and in the foothills. But as you can see on the horizon, coming out of the Pacific, we got a large, more moist air coming our way. Also in the north, we have a large Arctic, cold, frigid cold front coming our way. The cold front in the north will be moving faster, so we'll get here around Wednesday. We'll see temperatures in the low to mid-teens, but not far behind is that large, moist front coming our way, and it will hit us next weekend. And that's when all the major snows will happen. But this weekend, the resorts are going to be looking nice. As you can see, we have Winter Park, Keystone, Breckenridge, all with good bases. Keystone is a little lower, but that's not too unusual. Like I said, we're going to have 1 to 2 inches this weekend, and it's going to be a little chilly, 20 to 25 degrees, but it's going to be nice and sunny other than those few sprinklings of snow. If you want to travel a little further away, Steamboat Vale, Crested Butte, again, also have good bases, and it's not going to be too cold until later in the week. Like I said, Wednesday is going to reach around 12 degrees, so it's going to be cold, but not too cold to go snowboarding and skiing. But other than that, it's a great weekend to go skiing and snowboarding. Maybe go down the slopes, hit a little bit of fresh powder, and maybe take out a jump or two. We'll send it back to the desk. I'm Andy McDonald.
Thanks, Andy. Now, we got the game coming up tomorrow. Missouri, it's a big game. We beat them. when they came into Boulder last time, so we can see if the Buffs win.
Right, we're traveling to Missouri to play the fastest 40 minutes of basketball. Let's see if we can keep up and get this W, because we need a W on the road if we want to be in contention for the NCAA tournament.
Real bad, real bad. Well, thank you for joining us. David LaRose, Matt Hanlon, come back next week for more CU Sports Mag.